Welcome back to Eurofootball Daily for today's top 10, where we give you a number of teams who in recent years sold their best player, but went on to become a better side for it. Let's go! 10. Inter Milan. It's often hard to improve on a team that has already won 4 straight league titles, but that's exactly what happened when Inter Milan sold Zlatan Ibrahimovic to Barcelona in 2009. The giant Swede had been at the San Siro for 3 years, scoring 66 goals, and ending the campaign as the Nerazzurri's top scorer in both 07-08 and 08-09. In fact, in his final year with the club, he scored almost triple any of his teammates. His move to Spain was well documented. In a deal worth around €70 million, his arrival at the Camp Nou was offset by Samuel Eto'o, valued at just €20 million by Barcelona, heading in the opposite direction. Thanks to the Cameroonian icon though, the gaping hole left by Ibrahimovic was almost unnoticeable. As Zlatan went on to win his 7th consecutive league title, Eto'o would help lead Jose Mourinho's Inter to a then record-equalling 5th Scudetto in a row, but that wouldn't be it. His 16 goals also resulted in the Coppa Italia and the Champions League, marking the first and so far only treble win by an Italian side. 9. Arsenal. The 2006-07 season was the first in a decade that Arsenal won less than 20 matches in a league campaign, and marked their 2nd consecutive 4th place finish. It also saw the end of Thierry Henry's time with the Gunners, after 8 years, 370 appearances and 226 goals, at the time arguably the greatest ever player to have played in the Premier League. As Henry departed for Barcelona, Arsenal had just finished 21 points behind champions Man United. Arsene Wenger's biggest transfer that summer was the £7.5 million arrival of Eduardo from Dinamo Zagreb, hardly a move that suggested the unlikely title challenge they would have in 2007-08. Between October and March, Arsenal spent all but 3 weeks in first place, thanks to the goal scoring of Emmanuel Adebayor and the creativity of a 20-year-old Cesc Fabregas. However, a run of 1 win in 8 entering April saw Man United and Chelsea overtake them, with the former retaining their title. Regardless, Arsenal finished with 83 points, 4 off top spot, and at one point were favourites for their first league crown since the Invincibles. A definite step up, even if they would soon drop off again. 8. Lille. In recent years, Lille have made big money selling their stars, after making over €320 million in sales since the end of the 2017-18 season. This has included Nicolas Pepe and Gabriel heading to Arsenal, and Rafa Leão moving to AC Milan. But last season's sale of Victor Osimhen for €70 million to Napoli is why they have made it in here. The 22-year-old Nigerian international was Lille's top scorer last season with 13 as they finished 4th. But smart reinvestment over the summer has seen Les Dogs challenging PSG's domestic dominance. €27 million rival Jonathan David has racked up 9 goals, as has fellow new signing Burak Yilmaz, whilst Jonathan Bamba, at the club since 2018, has contributed 15 goals to date. This has led Christophe Galtier's side into the mix for a first league title since 2011, having spent more time at the top of the table than anyone else at the time of writing. Whilst you'd still expect PSG's quality to ultimately shine through, this season has showcased Lille's ability to keep performing despite selling their biggest names, as they try to establish themselves as the best of the rest in France. 7. Leicester City. You can argue there was nowhere to go for Leicester City after winning the Premier League in 2016, and they definitely returned to some sort of norm in the subsequent 2 seasons, finishing 12th and then 9th, also whilst keeping the core of their title-winning squad. The only signing that truly impacted their first team was Hull City's Harry Maguire. But in 2018 they sold Riyad Mahrez, followed out the door a season later by Maguire, for a combined £140 million. And Brendan Rodgers' Foxes were gone to finish 5th last season. With the exception of their title win, that was their highest league finish since 1994. And this campaign they've taken another step, finding themselves in competition with Man United, now captained by Maguire for 2nd spot. Smart investment with the money made from sales saw the likes of Maddison, Pereira and Soyuncu all join in 2018, whilst 2019 signing James Justin is also a regular starter in defence. A backline only further strengthened with the addition of Wesley Fofana last summer. Under Rodgers, Leicester appear to have legitimately broken into the top 6, and it doesn't look like they'll slip away anytime soon. 6. Napoli. As is custom in Italian football, if you have an outstanding season, Juventus will come sniffing. So when Gonzalo Higuain netted 36 goals for Napoli in 2015-16, the most ever in Serie A history, helping Maurizio Sarri's side to 2nd place with 82 points, it was inevitable that the Bianconeri would steal him away. They did just that, with the €90 million paid making him the most expensive South American player at the time. And it's hard to improve on 2nd place in Serie A when your title rivals poach your best player. But Napoli did just that, even if they never won it themselves. Traditionally a winger, Dries Mertens filled the Higuain-shaped hole at centre forward, scoring 28 goals. Just one less than that year's Golden Boot winner Edin Dzeko, as the partner pair scored 14 more goals and achieved 4 more points. And in 2017-18, Sarri's side would continue to improve, with 3 defeats their least in their top-flight history, racking up 91 points, 4 less than Juve. Higuain may have been the catalyst for Napoli reaching those heights, but their peak was achieved without him, as the Argentinian's career took a sudden turn for the worse. 5. Man United. No manager transformed his side more times than Sir Alex Ferguson at Man United, and come 2006 it was essential. They hadn't won the title in 3 seasons, their longest dry spell since the creation of the Premier League, and the big name that made way for the new generation of talent at Old Trafford that summer was Ruud van Nistelrooy. Whilst his time under Fergie ended controversially, having fallen out with Cristiano Ronaldo in the 2005-06 season, the Dutchman still netted 21 goals that campaign, bringing his United total to 150 goals in 219 matches over 5 years. And Van Nistelrooy was still at the top of his game. Real Madrid signed the 30-year-old, where he'd scored 53 goals in 80 matches in his first 2 seasons. But that didn't bother those he left behind in England. With Ronaldo and Rooney leading the line and Tevez joining a year later, Man United would win 3 consecutive titles, picking up 266 points across those campaigns. Add into that the Champions League crown in 2008, and this edition of Fergie's team was just as successful across 3 years as the treble-winning side of 1999. 4. Atletico Madrid. No top side has had to replace a single position more over the last 15 years than Atletico Madrid, who have seen a number of world-class strikers lead the line for a couple of years before moving on. This includes the likes of Fernando Torres, Diego Forlan, Sergio Aguero, Falcao, and most recently Antoine Griezmann. And in Griezmann's case, it was a win-win for Atleti. Diego Simeone's side received €120 million from Barcelona for a player that didn't want to be at the Wanda Metropolitano, and whilst the Frenchman has somewhat struggled at the Camp Nou, Los Colchoneros are currently in pole position for a first league title since 2014. And ironically, the trend of top strikers has continued in Madrid with Luis Suarez, who upon leaving Barcelona last summer was their 3rd top goalscorer in history. With 19 goals in La Liga to date, the 34-year-old Uruguayan is on course to top Griezmann's high of 22 league goals in a single season. Maybe not an upgrade as such, but it's clear that Atleti are now closer to winning the title than at any point during Griezmann's time in the capital. 3. Sporting. Despite their reputation as one of Portugal's big 3, Sporting haven't won the Primeira Liga since 2002, with Porto winning 11 titles and Benfica 7 since then. However, this campaign currently sees them unbeaten with 20 wins from 24 matches, and with a 10-point gap back to Porto, they look on course to win that elusive crown. And they've done it all without the man they fought so hard to keep last year. Bruno Fernandes was eventually sold to Man United for a fee that could rise to €55 million, after scoring 33 goals from midfield for the Lisbon club across all competitions in 1920. Fortunately, head coach Ruben Amorim found the perfect replacement when he signed for Milan's Pedro Gonzalez, who from the same position as Fernandes has 19 goal involvements so far. And this all comes less than 3 years after players and coaches were attacked by dozens of Sporting fans at their training ground just days ahead of a cup final, which resulted in 9 players cancelling their contract and then President Bruno Di Carvalho being dismissed. It's been a rollercoaster few years, but Sporting are looking good once more. 2. AC Milan. Historically a global football heavyweight with 18 Scudetti and 7 European Cup titles under their belt, Milan have fallen on harder times recently, having won only 1 Serie A since 2004 and failing to qualify for the Champions League since 2013. And that sole league triumph came 2 years after selling Kaka for a world record fee. Real Madrid bought the Brazilian for €67 million in 2009, making Kaka the world's most expensive player, at least until they signed Cristiano Ronaldo a few weeks later. In 2009-10, Milan may not have improved on their standing in 3rd, but they would soon make the step up, signing the likes of Thiago Silva, Ignacio Abate and Zlatan Ibrahimovic over the next 12 months. Max Allegri took over Leonardo's side and led the Rossoneri to the Scudetto in his first campaign at the San Siro. Ibra, Pato and Robinho all scored 14 goals, as they were backed up by the talents of Clarence Seedorf, Gennaro Gattuso and Alessandro Nesta throughout the squad. Even sweeter than that, they put an end to Inter's record equalling 5 consecutive league titles, and all without Ballon d'Or winning Kaka. 1. Liverpool. At the moment he left Liverpool in January 2018, there was a case to be made that Philippe Coutinho was amongst the best players in the Premier League. The Brazilian had 33 goal contributions across the previous 2 seasons and had 13 in 13 starts in 17-18 when Barcelona paid £105 million for him, making the 28-year-old the second most expensive player in history at the time. That sale very quickly covered the costs of Virgil van Dijk, signed from Southampton days earlier for £75 million, and Mohamed Salah, a £43 million arrival from Roma the previous summer. It also allowed Jurgen Klopp to spend a further £67 million on goalkeeper Alisson, £54 million on Naby Keita, and £40 million on Fabinho. These of course were all players that would be crucial in Liverpool's Champions League victory of 2019 and their long-awaited Premier League title a year later. Liverpool may have been extremely reluctant to let their star player go and were openly critical about how Coutinho forced his move away from Anfield, but hindsight is 2020. If it wasn't for selling him, Liverpool may not have won the two biggest trophies in back-to-back campaigns. So guys, that was our rundown of 10 clubs that sold their superstar and got better. Let me know what you guys thought of the list and whether we missed anyone out in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, leave a comment and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you next time.